Good morning, everyone. It's Stefan here, your Digital Commando, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Digital Commando Show. Now, it's Tuesday Trends, so we've got a fantastic digital marketer on with us today, and we're going to be talking about the same thing we talk about every Tuesday Trends. So if you haven't watched it before, then where have you been? We'll be talking about how to create content and what content to create and why. We'll be talking about social media and digital marketing strategy and what strategies are currently working. And then finally, we're going to get our guests' top tips for social media success. So without further ado, let's bring her into the room. Today, we've got Laura.
Hi.
Hey, Laura, how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it?
It is. This is one of the things I think I've spoken to so many people this week about lockdown, how they're finding it, and everyone's comments are exactly the same when they come back to me. They go, do you know what? It could be a lot worse. We've got fantastic weather.
We do, and it's sunshine. It makes all the difference. Thankfully, I've got a massive window to the front of the office, so it makes life easier. And I can use my office, which is a bonus. So we've got all the safety measures implemented.
So, Laura, for those who don't know you, can you give us an introduction to who you are and what you do, please?
Yeah, I'm Laura. I'm originally from Hungary. I've been living in England for 16 years now. Oh my God, it just sounds weird to say that, but yeah. And I was always in marketing. So I've got a marketing degree. I've got a journalism PhD. So I always loved marketing. And once I got made redundant, I decided, okay, I'm going to set up marketing. And after freelancing, I realized that how little value most of the big agencies provide for clients. I work for, I'm not mentioning names, some of the biggest backlink companies, SEO companies. And I just said, it's not delivering the benefits. So I set up on my own. I recruited some young people we talked about who are passionate about marketing just like I am, because they actually grew up in social media. Unfortunately, I'm not young enough to have done it. I was stuck on my Nokia brick when I was their age.
Yeah.
And we grew from there, providing social media, SEO, focusing mainly on the clients who have something valuable to offer. So your business coach, your business consultant, your accountant, financial advisor, who really needs a full strategy and a funnel, because that's what we do, funnels.
Absolutely brilliant. No, I totally agree. I think it's the best way and the best reason to get into this game was very much, I came from the same background as you. I was working for another agency and I just didn't think they were cutting the mustard, really. Big agency, very expensive. And for me, I just thought, you know what, I think I can do this better and give more value to clients if I can do it my own way. So yeah, that's what we go out and do. That's why we're in this game. So it's great. So guys, for everybody watching, if you've got any questions for myself or Laura today, then please do drop them in the comments. And like I always say, please do pay it forward. So if you know anybody that you think needs a little bit of extra help with their marketing this week, then please do also tag them in the comments and share the stream with them so they can watch it on the replay. That would be absolutely fantastic. So Laura, we're going to get stuck straight into it today. The first thing we're going to talk about is strategy and focus. Now, over the last 3 months or so, strategy has changed considerably for many people that may not be in a position to sell anymore, or maybe pivoting products. That word that everyone keeps saying, pivot, horrible. But people are making changes, they're improvising, adapting, and overcoming their current product line that may be quite difficult and changing it into something that they actually can benefit from. So what conversations are you currently having with clients at the minute? And what strategies are you using that are really, really working?
Well, I've got a business coach in London. He's moved her entire business online. So we are building an online funnel for her lead generation. She wanted to do it anyway, to work more flexibly around her little one. He's only 2 years old. But obviously, this pandemic and the lockdown and everything else actually made her do it. So we started doing that. We're building a couple of online courses so people realize that actually I can reach more people. For example, your business coach, they can develop a course that's going to going to get them much more reward, and doing the job once, they can sell it over and over again. So that's a really, really smart way. And I'm not only talking about business coaches, any skill you've got, you can create a training about, and you can market it, and you can generate a residual income if you've got the right strategy. We also work with a company that's not even open, and our solution was that even though they are not open, we are offering a discount on bookings. So they get a discounted voucher for the deposit, but the voucher will be valid until the end of next year. So that takes away the uncertainty from the market, so they can still get some revenue in to keep the business afloat until they can reopen. So it's a type of creative thinking, I think, in marketing from the business owner's perspective and the marketer's perspective as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing, and I've seen a lot of businesses that are currently doing this. So they are offering, I know lots of the restaurants are pre-selling food and things like that. So buy a special offer on a meal with a bottle of wine that you can take advantage of when you come back or when they reopen. And there's a lot of this. I think there's an element of worry as well from people, which I think is where people maybe won't make that buying decision. I think for anybody watching that's in this position is to make it very clear of where your business currently sits, and to reassure people that your business is going to be there after lockdown. Because if they are going to invest money with you to obviously get something back later, you need to be there later for them to receive it. So I think there's a lot of people that are slightly worried about that level of strategy. But I would say for businesses, it's absolutely fine to do. Just make sure you reassure people that you're absolutely fine. You'll be there when it's all over. So yeah, absolutely. So when we're talking about a lot of the strategies, then we'll go on to content. Now, content strategy is you'll be excellent at this because funnels are all built around fantastic content. So what advice have you got for people that are currently either creating content? We'll kind of do two sides on this one because I want to get your experience on both. So the first side would be general content that they're creating to generate traffic to their funnels, and then also the actual content that they have within the funnels themselves. So if we start off with the first one, that would be great.
Yeah, that's fine. If you've got one bet, I will definitely go with the video. Video content is easy to create. Obviously, not many people did. An increasing number of people are doing it now, but there's always that very hard look on the camera, and we actually do coach our clients saying, we need an intro video for the entrance of your funnel. This is the draft script. Let's work on it. Let's record it, and then we go back. Can you do a couple of star jumps before it so there's more energy to the video, which is cool. So video is powerful. In the past 2 years alone, the number of hours people consume video online went up by 60%. So it's booming. So anything that people can relate to, because you've got to take care of your personal branding, not only your company branding. Yeah. I'm not just talking about Instagram lives or Facebook lives, something that's valuable and people are going to share because they find that it will be valuable for their audience as well. That's when things go viral, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, this is the one thing that I preach on the show consistently, and it's regardless of what you're doing, one of the things that we do as an agency, like from the beginning, this is one of our biggest rules, and I'm sure you'll totally agree, that when you're creating content, whether you're doing it in-house or you've got an agency doing it, we get our team to ask themselves some questions before that content gets released, before they press that button to either schedule or post it. And it's always, what value does this add to the audience or the client's followers and things like that? Because if it's not adding value and you're just showing them products or you're just trying to shove sales down their throat, it doesn't work. You need to add value, especially at a time like now. I say the same thing over and over again. I'm going to say it again. The sales process, just because it's online, it doesn't mean it's different. You still need to go and follow the same sales process you would do in a high street shop. You introduce yourself, you build some rapport with the individual, and then once that's done, then you can sell it to someone. Nobody is walking into a shop and people are throwing clothes at them going, buy these shoes, buy that. Unless if they're a good salesperson, they'll do it the right way. If they start throwing things at you, I'm sure that you wouldn't buy anything. So yeah, okay, let's go over to kind of on the funnels then. So I think video is a fantastic way to initially grab attention and bring people across. Now, once you've got the attention, you've brought them into a funnel. What kind of things or what kind of content should people be thinking about within their actual funnel to make sure that they're either generating a lead or converting a sale?
Well, our latest strategy with especially business coaches is, I don't know if you heard about Ryan Levesque and the Ask method, which is basically engaging with the audience. So we are creating these amazing quizzes and questionnaires to drive people to be actually a co-creator of their experience and their product. And that works amazing because they don't feel like they are being sold. They are actually selling themselves, the product, in the process. And obviously, that's a really good way of driving them down the funnel. Okay, so you like this video or this training, where to go next? And then ask them a few more questions, and they will discover. So you help them discover their needs. Instead of shoving something down their throat that might not be suitable for them, because no one wants to be sold, really. They want to be happy to buy.
Yeah. Well, I think this is right. Exactly what you said there, establishing the need. And one very key way of that kind of, I suppose, follows a similar strategy, if I'm correct, would be webinar funnels.
Absolutely. We just love webinar funnels. They are the best. Obviously, in the UK, we are using a different system than in America because, you know the American webinars, like 10 minutes content and 15 minutes bragging, and then the rest is sales. So obviously, the UK audience is not really biting into that. But webinars are amazing for lead generation because you've already given them something valuable for free. So you created that level of reciprocity that people are just like, I actually I want more.
Absolutely, I love that as well. And we haven't done so much of the webinar stuff. We're actually filming one. We were supposed to film it on Sunday, but some of the equipment didn't arrive. So we're currently in the process of building our digital Commando Academy funnel. And it was really kind of fun because we did lots of research, and I totally agree with you. The British market is so different to the Americans, and we do not want to sit there and if anybody watching this, I'm sure please guys comment. It is quite funny that when you go onto any of these very Americanized, or some of them that are kind of New Zealand area as well. I've got a couple of them down there. There's one particular guy that does my head in. But you go and watch their webinars that are literally like 2 to 3 hours long. And it is because they're that long because you have got a good 15, 20 minutes, half an hour at the beginning of the webinar where the person will just tell you how awesome they are for a really, 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 really long time. And they will read out a good 5 to 10 minutes of testimonials to you that, to be honest, you don't care. Like, I have them written down somewhere. I'll read them later, but I don't want you to just read out testimonial after testimonial. 1 or 2 is maybe fine, but not like 10. It's a nightmare. So yeah, no, I think that's really good. And I think it's something that people should, again, be aware of when they're doing it. It goes back to marketing and everything we do. And the whole premise of how we do it is make sure you're creating the right content for the right audience. And that's exactly what we're doing.
That's the most important thing, that you know your audience. And by asking the questions, you can actually drive them towards the right, most suitable product or training course or whatever through the webinar as well.
And what software do you use for funnels? Is it have you got a preferred one that you recommend? Or
most of the time we use Clickfunnels or Lead Pages or any of them, but sometimes you just build it from scratch because we don't like copying the American style funnels. It just doesn't work. So we just build it from scratch, like a bespoke one for the client. So building individual landing pages, individual thank you pages that are built in the client's website. So it looks the same, feels the same, on brand, because it's really important that it's on brand. So we are not confusing the audience. What do you stand for?
Yeah.
I lost it.
And there's so many different platforms out there that people can use. Some of them work with some people and some of them don't work for others. We've used software like anybody who's done funnels before might be familiar with Contra.
For the training ones, especially, they are really good for the
horrible platform.
Horrible.
I know. It was so difficult to use.
To be honest, I used it a few times, but my web developers don't like it. So I think he will get on with my web developer guy, because he just said, you know what, in that time that I make it work, I can build it from scratch for you. I said, okay, do what you want.
That's it. The Kartra one we used to break more than it would work. So it's just constantly trying to fix things. Clickfunnels, I think, is great. We've used Clickfunnels for quite a lot of work in the past. I just always wanted to go and get I just wanted the big circle things.
Yeah.
I just wanted the awards. That's the only reason we started using it. And then, what's the other one? We use Kajabi. Kajabi's great, especially if you're.
It's actually it's a really good alternative to Contra, isn't it? Yes,
absolutely. And a lot of them, they can talk to each other now as well, which is really good.
That's our amazing discovery this year, that we can implement everything through Zapier and Active Campaign, and you just have to, because that's the reason our logo is a jigsaw, because every jigsaw piece needs to match. So the integration, you can expand on a funnel, you can scale it up, scale it down, whatever the client wants. It's just amazing.
So for some of the people that are watching now, one of the key things about a funnel especially is that once you've created your ads or however you're doing your lead generation goes through to your funnel may do a webinar from lead generation, things like that. Now, for those people that may not be familiar with using funnels at the minute, tell some people some of the advantages from an automation perspective of using a funnel.
Well, a funnel can be as simple as giving away a free ebook and putting someone an email sequence. So it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Obviously, in our industries, we work with a few complicated ones, like different training courses and upsells and downsells. But the main thing is that you get the maximum return on investment for your advertising money. And the reason most people use funnels is because if let's say you're selling something for £50 and you're paying Facebook, let's say £40 a lead, you don't really have that profit margin to make it worth it. But if you've got an upsell in the end and you can sell a couple of £500 products in the end, now your return on investment is much higher, so it's worth having a funnel that will upsell it for you automatically.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a question come in from Sarah Gibson. I'm going to put it on the screen. She's asked, how often should I mix or change up or change the content up? What would you say to that?
What type of content? Is it your...
I'm presuming she means social media content. On that.
Social media. I would definitely experiment in the first 1 to 2 months. I would experiment with different types of content. So when we start with a new social media client, we usually do like video articles, we do text-based ones, and measure it. So make sure that you measure it, otherwise you won't know what's happening, what's popular in your audience. And if you say, oh, actually, I thought that this video article would do that, and it doesn't, then you move on to the next thing. So experiment with everything. Don't just say, I need to have variety, because until you know what's working, there's no point mixing the content up. Measure the results. What's getting the engagement? What's getting the shares? What's getting the likes? I would definitely try 3 different types. So one is the long form, social media content when you're actually giving people behind the scenes a picture about your business. I would also try maybe a live or a longer video, and I would try just either short images or short videos or images that will start a conversation. So the main thing is start a conversation with your audience, because we're not in the 1980s and marketing was about putting a billboard out and waiting for people to look at it. It should be interactive marketing. So you need to interact with your audience. So always go for the engagement every single time and measure the engagement. So stick with 2 to 3 for at least 2 months, measure the results, and then pick the winners, lose the losers.
I like that, and this is why it's great having you on the show, Laura, because you think like me, and we are data-driven marketers. We take all the guesswork out of everything we do. It's not a case of let's just hope for the best because that's which way the wind's going. It's a case of making informed decisions and making changes based on your customers and how they're actually reacting to things. So it's good to have somebody on the show that is so on that. I love that. But yeah, test and measure, one of our favorite sayings in the world when it comes to marketing, especially us as Facebook advertisers. We test and measure everything. So it's all about ROI, positive ROI consistently.
Shooting in the dark, aren't you?
Well, yeah. And this is it. I've had conversations with people, and I've had really what I find genuinely funny conversations where I've had customers come to me that want to sell courses online. And long story short, they'll come to me and they say, okay, how much is it going to cost me to start selling my course online? And when we've put it through our kind of calculator, I'll come back with maybe, okay, you're going to make £2,000 a month, but it's actually going to cost you £1,600 a month to sell it. And they went, oh, well, that's not very good, is it? Yes, it is. You're getting £400 for free. That's a positive return on investment. Now, all you need to do is scale that once you've got to that point. If you were spending £16,000 and getting £20,000 back, it sounds a bit better, doesn't it? It's exactly the same thing. I'd be happy making £4,000 a month from one particular course. That would be great. So I think this is one of the things that people need to bear in mind. Marketing isn't cheap. As long as you're getting a positive return on investment, it's fine. But I think people just need to be aware, and we do preach this to lots of people, to say that, especially people that say Facebook advertising doesn't work. Well, it does, and it's been proven. It doesn't work if you do it wrong, obviously, or if you don't spend enough money. If you're selling, I don't know, we'll use coaching for an example, and if you pay a coach is charging £1,000, £2,000 a month, don't expect to spend £100 and pick up 5 clients, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
They need to be realistic with their numbers, I think. And we've had another one come in. I can't see who this one's from. This one's Facebook user, so it's somebody from Digital Commando's group. How to get more people to join your event on Facebook. In this case, a launch. Okay, cool. So might need more information on that slightly, because it's easy to get people to an event. And this was my background, actually. I started in events management and then started a marketing company off the back of it, because all the other events companies wanted me to do all their marketing because my events are always full. So I love events marketing. Great question. So how to get more people to join your event on Facebook. Now, do you want them to, you might have to, hopefully you're still watching, do you want them to attend an online event, or is this something for a launch that is offline? So if you can fill us in with that detail, we'll be able to probably give you a slightly better answer. But Laura, I'll go to you first on this one. What do you think?
Well, I would definitely say that engagement is important. So you can't just expect putting something on Facebook once. And I had a couple of business coaches who thought that's how it works. That you put an event or a webinar or a seminar online, and yeah, you just hit the biz button on Facebook and you will have all the 10 days you can cater for. No, it doesn't work like that. You've got to build that relationship. So if you are planning a launch, I would recommend at least 3 months preparation. And I might sound unrealistic, but you do have to build that relationship and build up that audience. So find the audience that is going to be interested and focus on what you are going to talk about at the event, or the values or the solutions you're offering, because that everyone's looking for a solution. Entertainment is good, but they also want answers. Build up that audience, create momentum, stay in front of them. So a very, very simple funnel you can implement in that is obviously combined with the retargeting on Facebook, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But what we do is when we have a client consultation, we also have live events or online events. And when someone's booking in, they are put on an autoresponder sequence plus a messenger sequence. So once they've shown interest or they downloaded some information or checked something out, you stay in touch. You keep on providing them with valuable information so they will remember you, because we've got so much distraction on Facebook. It's hard to remember or focus. So you can't expect, someone said 3 months ago that they will turn up. You can't expect them to turn up. 90% of them won't unless you stay in front of them. Okay. So that's how you get people to join. You stay in front of them, stay on topic, focus on one topic throughout, which is going to be your events topic. And find a way to connect with them personally as well if you can. So follow up with them, ask them questions. Maybe the quiz can come in again. What are you most looking forward to in this event? Let us know. We will try to help you. That would be a really good way. But you can't expect putting it live today and tomorrow you will have an event for. And you can relate to it, can't you?
Absolutely. I think, you're absolutely spot on with the strategy. I'd use a very, very similar one, to be honest. Obviously, I would say, so you want people to an online event, it's in the beauty industry, you do the normal thing, you'd find out what questions that your industry are asking, you should know them quite well, you're in it. So what questions do they need answered? Create Facebook ads around that particular kind of content, give them value that will build that relationship with them in the beginning, and then start to promote the events after that. Now, I would say go down the route that Laura just said then. I wouldn't even have one launch event. I would just pre-record the launch event, do it once, pre-record it, put it into a funnel, and then just market the hell of it to everybody. This is the trick. Only market that webinar to people that are already watching your other videos, because then it's the right target market. They'll come across to the webinar. Then you get them into a retargeting sequence, because obviously your data captures them on the way in, and then continue to hit them with that. And that would definitely be my advice. Exactly. I think me and Laura is exactly the same. Would do that very similar. And then you'll get more people to come on board working with Ori Flame, I think that's called. I'm not familiar with them, but hopefully that's going very well for you. Okay. Laura, we're almost out of time. What we're going to do is just cover our final point for today, which is top social media tips for success. So can you give us your top 3 social media tips for success?
Well, I've got hundreds, but I picked the top 3 for this one. One of them I always tell people in training and when I speak to clients is that on all your social media profiles, don't just brag about yourself. No one's interested. The only thing they are interested in is what is in it for me and why should I care? So if you don't answer it in your profile, no one's going to pay attention to you. Because we are selfish. We want to know what's in it for me and why should I listen to you and not someone else. So that's what you should answer. The other thing is I would definitely say that the boring things in marketing, and we are the same, data-driven, are paying off long term. So thankfully, I'm not doing it anymore, but hashtag research. Oh my God, if you don't do your hashtag research right, you will never crack social media. I mean, even LinkedIn is hashtag driven, not to mention Twitter and Instagram. If you don't get your hashtags right and you don't do your research, it's not going to work. You can't win the game. You've got to be found and the search engine for social media is hashtags. So there's so much information. I don't know if you do any training on hashtags, but there's so much information for free online. Just get on to spend a couple of hours and get them right. The third one is one of my favorites, and I think it's the most important thing, is that engagement is worth so much more than likes. I mean, I had clients with 80,000 likes, and most of them were in a small island in Indonesia. So, and the client was in America. There's no point, is there, having them on your social media? If your engagement doesn't translate to business, there's no point, because that's why you are online, to visit people who are ready to buy. And we are not in business we are actually in business to make money, and we are not there to win a popularity contest. So that's important to bear in mind, that in the end you want buyers to come out of your funnel. So you've got to target the right people. So having the right people instead of having 80,000 people is the key. You are really engaged with your content and tuned in.
I think they're fantastic tips. So thank you very much. I'm going to mirror some of those. My top 3 tips today, guys. Number 1, use Facebook advertising. I've been telling you to do this for ages. It's still a good time to do it. It's not going to last forever. When all that money goes into Facebook, it's going to cost us all more money. All that free money from there. From the nice thing that Facebook did was actually give it to small businesses. But before they give it to small businesses, do some advertising now, so you're not competing against all that money. The other thing, and this is going off the back of a conversation I've had with a client, and I don't want to do this wrong. I'm not actually promoting the academy, but if you're going to do Facebook advertising, please, for God's sake, learn how to do it. And this is, you don't even have to come to the academy. Just go and learn it from anywhere. At least have an idea of what you're doing, because regardless of how much money you spend, you could spend £1,000, £2,000, £10,000. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get any results. So please, there are so many great videos and great instructors in Facebook advertising. They're not as good as me, but they're pretty good. So go out there and go and get some advice and make sure you know what you're doing, because that return on investment is going to be so much higher when you tweak that strategy and get it right. And then finally, I'm going to mirror what Laura said. Engagement is massive, especially on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, pretty much every platform. Engagement is huge. Now, my big bit of advice on engagement is, if people are taking the time to engage with you, engage back. Social media is very much supposed to be social. It's supposed to be a conversation. How often do you go out and someone says something to you and you ignore them? You wouldn't be a very sociable person. Not many people would like you. So make sure that you're replying to people. You're never too big to reply to someone. Like a lot of people jump on the high horse and get a bit of an ego when they get a certain amount of followers. They're the influencers we don't tend to like, but there's lots of fantastic influencers out there that will reply to a message. If anybody watched my social media in February, I got loads of birthday messages from huge influencers, 6 million plus followers, and they took the time to send me a birthday message, which is really, really nice. And actually, I'll follow them for ages now. Big fan. So this is the way to do it. Make sure you are engaging with those people, whether it's from a brand perspective or from an individual. I definitely would say that is so key. And it's great for algorithms. If you engage people, then all of the social media platforms will promote your content as long as you're engaging. So yeah, they're my top tips today. Right, we are just about out of time. Laura, for anybody that joined the show late, can you just remind everybody who you are, what you do, and most importantly, how they can get hold of you in the future?
Okay, so Laura Farkas, Elements Marketing. I'm in Frodjam, Cheshire, and our website is marketingfunnel.website. So it's a funky name, marketingfunnel.website, but if you just type in Elements Marketing, you will see our clutch reviews, design rush reviews, everything else, so you will find us.
Absolutely super.
L for Lima, sorry, because it's a funky, everything's funky. So L for Lima, M for mother, N for November, TS. So it's a play of words and letters kind of thing. And that's the logo with the little jigsaw.
Awesome. Laura, you've been absolutely great. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Guys, for everybody who's watched, I'm going to mirror what I say every time. If you've got some benefit from the show, then please pay it forward and think of 3 people that you think can also benefit from the show and tag them in the comments. If you don't know anyone that will benefit, don't share it. I only want you to share it with people that it's relevant for, please. We're sticking to practice what we preach. So we are back tomorrow with Web Wednesday, and we've got some more fantastic guests. Unfortunately, I will be unable to present tomorrow, but we will have our new digital commando, Dave, who many of you have seen before, who will be hosting for me tomorrow. So thank you very much in advance, Dave, for that one. Guys, I will be back, but feel free to drop any comments. If you've got any more questions for myself or Laura, then do drop them in the comments, and we will endeavour to get back to you with an answer as soon as possible. Once again, Laura, you've been fantastic. Guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Dave will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Okay, guys, see you later. Peace out.
Bye.